Good morning, sir.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's a greatest achievement you have made. So how do you feel now?
First of all, I felt relieved because I was out of this loop of giving
Okay,
normal. So these two feelings were there initially.
very good. Yeah, Shreshta Sree, say something about you, Shreshta Sree. Say something about your personal history.
So I was born in Baleshwar, district of Orissa, but I do not associate with myself with only one state because I have lived in 2-3 states. I have done my schooling in Kolkata, in Jharkhand, and most of it in Delhi. And I graduated from Miranda House, University of Delhi, with political science as my major subject. Then presently I'm pursuing my master's from Jawaharlal Nehru University in international relations. So that is my academic background. Coming to some other aspects of my life, civil services had always inspired me since my childhood because my father, he served as a civil servant. And secondly, I would say that not only in academics, I have always given my contribution and participation in co-curricular activities as well. Because I have trained in Kathak for 10 years and I also do painting, reading. These are some of my hobbies. And this was my second attempt in civil services.
Okay, so I think now I can understand why you opted political science as your optional.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it means, is this your childhood ambition to become a civil servant, or when you started the graduation, then after that you thought of preparing for this?
So in my schooling days, I remember there was this term of IAS, which was very much fond of in all the students. So I researched about what is IAS. Then I used to talk with my father, what is the work of an IAS, civil servants. Then in my 12th standard, after my 12th, I decided to go for humanities. I was having PCM till my 12th standard. Then I shifted towards humanities because I wanted to give a full-fledged preparation towards civil services. And I opted for political science and geography in my graduation. And political science really fascinates because it not only comes with the study of theories, but also the international relations, the dynamics which are happening in the geopolitics. So that was a planning that I chose to go for the civil services examination.
When did you start the civil services preparation, whether from your first year onwards or after the completion of the graduation?
So I started my journey of civil services after my graduation. Since I was having a background of political science, I thought I shouldn't go for coaching in the third year itself. So I gave myself a break of 1 year and I was not even eligible to give the examination. So since 2019, I started this journey of civil services. I came back to my home and started preparing for it wholeheartedly.
Very good, very good. Shrestha Sree, actually, you know very well that people, they used to say this is the most difficult examination in the world. So even they would have informed you also. Being a daughter of the bureaucrat, I think you would have got so much of advice from various bureaucrats also. So how did you consider and how did you face those challenges?
Firstly, I would say that it's a myth that it is one of the toughest exam. Every exam is tough in itself. If you think that it is very difficult to crack, I think that mindset shouldn't be there, because if you want to clear it, then you just have to have one thing in your mind that I'm going to crack it, whether it is tough or not. So yeah, I have also encountered so many people who had told me this is very tough. You know, it is not, you are not going to clear it in one go itself because it has 3 stages to clear. So I used to talk with my father. He told me that if you really want to go for it, then don't be pessimistic in your thinking. Just be positive, because it is an exam, and don't treat it more than your life. Just have this positive temperament that this is an exam, I have to study for it. And if I study rigorously and in a very effective manner, then you might crack it. So that was my approach.
And people say that only the school topper and college topper can only crack the UPSC civil service examination. How about Shrestha Sree?
Sir, I do not feel that it is only for the toppers. We can see so many toppers in the recent years who have come from a very average academic background, because I feel that in your academic, it doesn't give you that edge. However, if you give your hard work and dedication for 1 year, 2 year continuously, then one can easily crack it. The syllabus of UPSC is not meant for someone who is a very smart person in their academic life. It is for everyone, because it comes with general studies. So everybody, as a citizen of our country, should know some of the aspects that is given in the UPSC syllabus. So if one studies through it effectively, then it doesn't matter if he or she is a topper or an average student.
We have three kind of students. One is a beginner who do not know anything about the civil service examination. They have certain doubts. Where to start, when to start. Some are studying their college, and some they have completed their graduation. Even in that case, if they are the beginner, where they should start and how they should start. The second category, already they are in the preparation. They could not clear the prelims examinations sometimes, but continuously they are preparing for the examination. And there are third categories. They are not able to clear at least mains sometimes, or sometimes they are not able to clear the final stage personality test. There are three segments. First, let us start from the first segment, that is the beginner. So what is your advice where they should start their journey?
I can relate to the beginners very well, because when I started my journey, I had this opportunity to talk with so many students who were also aspiring for civil services. So for the beginners, I would say that firstly, take a printout of the syllabus. Go through the syllabus, not only prelims but mains as well. Then listen to the toppers talks, which is there on the YouTube platforms. You'll get to know how to start from the scratch. Since I started in 2019, I saw the top video, and the most beneficial was from Kanish Kataria sir. Then some few other toppers from humanities background. Since I had humanities, so I wanted to have a toppers. I wanted to see a video where the topper is also coming from an arts background that I could relate with. Then I searched for all the resources. I knew that NCRTs are essential for this journey. So I started studying NCRTs in my second and third year of a college itself. It came handy because of my association with other subjects. Then for the beginners, I would also say that please map out a plan that how you are going to devote certain months of your journey, because completing optional is really important. What I have seen in this journey is that people start studying only for prelims. Until they clear prelims, then they really think what to do about mains, and then they get stuck in this vicious cycle. So I feel that when you are starting the journey, just don't focus on prelims, also mains. When you are making notes for prelims, you must also have this in your mind that if such question comes in mains, how I'm going to write. So for the beginners, I would say, if you are starting the journey, firstly see the UPSC syllabus, go through the YouTube section for the toppers talk. You'll get all the resources that is needed for this journey. I do not think that nobody is aware of the books that are important in this preparation. Everybody knows, because everything is out there on the social media and all the platforms. Thirdly, make your preparation in a coherent way. Like, do not isolate mains, prelims, or interview preparation. Then it may take more than 1 year or 2 year to crack the exam. Thirdly, for those who are not able to clear prelims, so I would say that which worked for me personally. Firstly, increasing the number of attempts in the GS paper 1. I attempted 90 questions. So I was having this confidence that I might be clearing the cutoff because of the accuracy and certain other things that helped for me. Secondly, don't ignore CSAT. CSAT is important. CSAT is getting tougher every year, and I come from humanities background, so I had to give certain amount of time for CSAT. Thirdly, there is this thing that if we do not study NCRTs, then we can cover the exam very well without studying it. I feel that it is not a good idea. Go for NCRTs. The maps which are present in the geography and the history books, these are really important. UPSC is asking questions from the NCRTs. It is picking lines from NCRTs as it is. So NCRT is really important. And for prelims, I would say make short notes. Short notes because before 1 week of the exam, nobody wants to go through the bulky books. So if we make short notes for 2-3 subjects, which I feel that really important, like science and tech and environment and history, then you will be able to revise quickly.
Actually, can you please say something about your experiences with respect to the CSAT? Because you are from the arts background, what are all the challenges you faced? Whether you used to solve only the comprehension, otherwise you used to give more focus for the quants. Otherwise, what would be the approximate number of questions you used to try? Please, can you please say something about it?
So in my first attempt, I learned that I cannot rely on the English comprehension solely, because that was a blunder. Because the subjectivity of the answers given in the comprehension is very difficult to understand. So what I planned out, I thought that I should go with the quant part firstly, because solving maths will give you a definite answer and you will be sure that it is the answer. So I listed out certain topics for myself. I didn't cover all the CSAT topics in quant, but I chose out certain topics which are coming in the exam more than often. So I practiced those. Firstly, I saw the videos. There are so many videos available on YouTube for CSAT. I saw them and I got the concept. Then I practiced CSAT questions. PYQs are important because PYQs will give you the nuance of the questions that are being asked in the examination. So my first strategy was to devote at least 45 minutes for quant, then 15 to 20 minutes for logical reasoning. Logical reasoning are such low-hanging fruits. If we do the PYQs, then you do not feel any difficulty in the examination hall. Thirdly, my last attempt was for the English comprehension section. I didn't rely more for English comprehension. I used to attempt only 10 to 15 questions from English comprehension. Most of my attempts were from quant and logical reasoning, and that helped me in clearing the bar of the 66 marks of qualifying for the prelims.
What went wrong in your first attempt, and what is the lesson which you learned out of it?
So in my first attempt, I would say that I was confident, but I didn't give much time to CSAT. Due to CSAT, I was not able to clear the first prelims. So that was a huge setback for me, and it also opened my eyes that GS paper 1 is important, but CSAT is also a qualifying paper. So I realized my mistake from my first attempt, that CSAT has to be done in a very comprehensive manner.
But your prelims cutoff was almost in the GS, it was on the safer side, the first attempt?
Yes. I was able to clear GS.
Okay. And in your second attempt, the first time you are giving your mains and first time you are appearing for the personality test. Obviously, for any people, those who are giving first time, naturally they will face a lot of challenges. This year also, many people, they have written their prelims, they are eagerly waiting for their mains. First time they are going to write the mains examination. So what are the challenges the first attempt people they used to face? And I think definitely even you would have faced it. How did you overcome it and you have cracked it? Please tell me that secret.
So when I cleared prelims, I was happy for 2 days. Then I realized that I have only
First of all, very sure that definitely you are going to clear the prelims second time?
Actually, I was having this feeling that I will be able to clear the cutoff, because last time I couldn't clear CSAT, but this time I had given so much of dedication and hard work put in CSAT. So I was having this feeling, but always there is uncertainty until the results come. So when the results were out, I was happy. Then I thought that I need to have a strategy for 2 months to write mains. So firstly, I encountered so much of anxiety in myself that how I am going to write the exam in 2 months. I had practiced answer writing before prelims and wrote few essays and few GS test papers. So I find it difficult to start my journey for mains, but it was not something that encountered me very badly. I talked to some of my teachers, my friends. They told me that you can do it. If you have cleared it, then you have to write the mains. So I started with the short notes that I had made for that I made for optional subject. I completed my optional in 15 to 20 days. Optional was something which I was confident about, that if I do my optional well, then it can give me marks. It can give me an edge in the mains examination. Then I started.
They have to start from the strongest area.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then I started with ethics. Ethics was something which I hadn't written a single answer before prelims. So I had to complete it anyhow. So my main strategy was to go through all the PYQs. I saw the PYQs, I saw the model answers, then I made my own notes. Then I went for the case studies. Case studies are really important in ethics. They will give you more marks than the theoretical part. So I completed ethics. I do some cursory reading from some of the notes which I had studied before, some of the other toppers' notes. Then I made my own short notes. I wrote 3 to 4 ethics tests to give myself this confidence. Then after 1 month in November, I started giving tests. I started giving all the tests. I wrote around 12 to 15 tests, including my optional subject. And then after 31st of December, I was having this confidence that I can write mains, I can produce some of the good answers, because those 2 months were really difficult for me, because you have to study intensively, not only study, memorize things, then reproduce on the paper. Then there are aspects where you have to improve. I was in constant contact with my teachers, who used to provide me valuable feedback that need to improve on my presentation skill or the content. So I was able to do certain things which helped me in the mains exam. And obviously, if you have time, then I would say that start preparing notes for mains from as early as possible, because in those 2 months you do not want to only sit and study. You have to write answers. Answer writing is really important. In 3 hours you have to write 20 questions and 2 papers in each day. So for that, answer writing is important. Not only answer writing, I would say remembering the facts, how you are going to reproduce everything on that single sheet of paper. So those 2 things are important for mains.
See, with respect to mains, again, one more question is, see, within the period of 60 days, you have to manage everything. First, you have to read it, then you have to revise it, and again, you have to reproduce it, again, you have to rectify it. All those things that has happened within a period of 2 months. And from your discussion, which I have understood is, first, they have to start from the strongest area, any beginners. then they should complete their optional first, or parallelly they have to prepare for the GS also. What is your suggestion actually with respect to the preparation?
Sir, actually, I didn't segregate my optional and GS subject. It was like in the initial 15 days, I started with my optional, but I also completed some part of the GS, such as GS1 and 2. GS1 didn't take too much of time because it doesn't have very vast syllabus. It has a limited syllabus, and most of the things were covered in prelims, like modern history. Only the art and culture section and Indian society had to be done in a comprehensive manner. So
World
in the
history.
yes, world history as well. So in the 15 days, I started with GS1 and 2 as well. Since I had PSIR background, so GS2 came handy. The GS paper 2 had overlapping with my optional paper 1 subject. So I made notes for both of them simultaneously. So after 15 days, I started with the subjects such as GS3 and 4. GS4 was something which I hadn't started earlier. So I devoted a more number of days to it. And GS3, I did it simultaneously. It was like picking up two papers together, because limited time was there. And if I started with something like GS4 at the beginning only, then I could have gone for more than 1 month only doing that. So I completed those things which I knew earlier, which I was having confidence about that I can revise it at the later part as well. That's why I started with the optional and GS1 and 2, then merged GS3 and 4 together.
Normally the people, they used to take the test series from the beginning, but you suggested that after a period of 1 month only you started the test series. So may I know any specific reason for it? Otherwise, normally students, they used to take weekly once.
Actually, I had joined a year-long test series program. So I didn't write the answers for the first time after clearing mains. It was like I had written few answers, few test papers before prelims only, and that were 4 or 5. That's why in November only I studied and revised, made notes, and in December I gave all the remaining test papers. So my strategy was that if I do not study everything in a very comprehensive manner, I won't be able to write good answers. So instead of going for the test series in the initial phase only, I thought that I should give 15 days study, 15 days time to study intensively. But I was writing optional answers at my room. It's like not going to the test center, but writing every day at least 3 to 4 questions in my room only to have that writing practice. So
what about the essay paper? Whether did you follow any specific strategy for the essay paper, or weekly once you used to write some essay, something like that?
yes. So before prelims, I had written 5 to 6 essays. So in the lockdown phase, I used that time effectively. What I did that I joined some online portals to get my essays checked. So in those classes, I learned how to have the approach of writing essays. So essay writing was something which I was having a bit of confidence about, because I had done that prior to prelims. So the main thing which is important for essay is, I feel that you need to have content and you need to have a structure in your mind, because even in philosophical essays, we can reproduce so much of GS facts if we know how to have the structure. So after clearing prelims, in those 2 months, I used to write essays weekly, and then I used to get it checked by my seniors, or even I used to check it myself after 10 days, that what I could have written, where I could have improved, like that. And so overall, I had written 15 to 20 essays. More, some of them were checked, that's why I'm saying 15, and 20 were not evaluated, that's why. So
Can you please tell us what was your score in the essay paper?
so I scored 126 in essay paper.
What about the other papers? Can you please tell?
Yes, so my GS paper 1, I have scored In GS paper 1, I have scored 96. In GS paper 2, I have scored 110. GS paper 3 was something which really lowered down my score. I have scored only 78 in that. Then in GS paper 4, I have scored 96. And my optional papers, cumulatively, they are around 241.
Oh, good. So actually, how important going through the previous year question papers for the mains examination?
Since I do not had any set plan in my mind, so I thought let's start with the PYQs only, because the syllabus was really vast. So when I started going through the PYQs, I jotted down some areas where UPSC is asking so many questions. In GS paper 1, physical geography was something. Every time there is questions on earthquakes or volcanism. So I did all the PYQs. When I did the PYQs, I made the short notes for that. So that came handy for me in the exam. PYQs are also important because then that will give you a direction, because there is so much to learn, so much to study. But when you read that only such questions are being asked in the exam, then we can obviously limit our I would say efforts, not going in waste for studying different type of things. PYQs helped me in the ethics paper mostly, because as I told earlier, I had never studied for ethics before prelims in that way. I had to made all the notes in those 2 months of time, and I did only PYQs, and I gave 2-3 tests in scoring 96.
Oh, good. Actually, the current affairs portions are one of the most challenging part, both for the prelims as well as for the mains, even for the personality test. And people, they used to ask so many questions. Sir, what is the period that I should study the current affairs, particularly for the mains examination, because already the prelims is over. Now the students are eagerly waiting to know this. So now the mains examinations tentatively is going to start in the month of September and October. So please tell me, because last year you wrote in the month of January. So, but normally, what is the duration that they should prepare?
For prelims, what I have noticed is that more than current affairs, contemporary affairs are important. Contemporary affairs are like which are in the news for last 1 or 2 years, more than 2 years as well in some of the things. But for mains, current affairs are important because they will ask you questions from last 6 months only. In the mains, I had seen questions which were there for last 6 months. So it was something I was prepared for, because for mains, current affairs is really important. You need to have what happened in the international relations section, or the economy, or the environment. And so for 6 months, current affairs need to be done. And most importantly, since students will be writing the exam in the September, so I feel from April to August, these months should be covered. And when one is preparing for this exam, 2 years or last 1 year, so they will be having certain kind of information with them. But however, there are some questions in GS paper 3 this year which were asked from 2004 or 2016. So that is something which you can't really expect for. Expect the unexpected. It is UPSC. There will be some questions which is difficult to tackle. But with prior knowledge, you can write certain facts that can give you marks in that questions.
Could you recollect some of the questions which you really find it very difficult to face it in the mains examinations? Because sometimes they used to leave 2-3 questions in the mains. Later on, they will recollect some of the things, but it will be relevant, but they will not have reproduced there. Certain things like that.
Yes. So for me, GS paper 3 was something which was really unexpected. So there were questions relating to the specifications of S-400 missile. At that time, I couldn't recollect, but I tried to write something similar what I had studied before. Then there were guidelines for WHO. WHO guideline. Sorry, WHO guidelines.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were questions for blue LED. That was the Nobel Prize in 2016, I believe, or 2014. So I had only studied about LED, but I tried to answer it in such a way that it makes sense to the checker. Then I believe there were 2-3 more questions which I recollect at this moment, but they were really difficult in the examination hall. And if I talk about other GS papers, then in GS paper 1, there were one world history question. I tried to tackle it with my optional background because it was something which was not asked previously, and that was something which I felt difficult in the examination hall. And apart from that, nothing comes to my mind as of now.
Okay, and everybody is having some their own strategy as far as the presentation is concerned. So, can you please give some tips to the students, those who are going to appear for the mains examination?
Yes. Since I had always thought in my mind that I had to write 20 questions anyhow in those 3 hours, what I used to do, I used to make a lot of diagrams. Apart from my optional, in all the 4 papers, I have drawn diagrams to minimize my efforts in writing so many words, and it also helps in giving a gist of the answer. The examiner is able to quickly go through the answers through the diagrams. In GS paper 4, I had practiced diagrams beforehand. So in the theoretical questions, I used them as much as I could. And for GS paper 3 as well, there were diagrams. Firstly, I would suggest whenever there is a geography related question, one has to draw the diagrams. Secondly, in GS paper 2, we do not get much of scope to draw the diagrams. However, one has to develop this quality. Since something is being asked, and one can obviously give the factors in a very better way by putting factors in the common, then encircling it, then putting out the arrows. So what it does, that it really reduces the amount of time which one has to go for the writing part. Now coming to the structure, I would also suggest that in some of the questions which are being asked, because certainly there will be questions which are not asked directly. There will be 2 or 3 parts related to it. So what one can do, they can have a small diagram out in the last rough pages to get the overview that what you are going to write in that question. What happens sometimes that what I have felt personally, instead of answering some questions in the way that UPSC is asking, I answered in the test series in a very different way. That was like reproducing only those things which I knew. So one suggestion that I received from my evaluators was that if you do not know how to answer that question, firstly take 15 to 20 seconds out, go to the rough page, then list down what you can write in that answer, then try to systematize it, try to put the things which should be coming ahead of the other one. So that is 2 things I would say to improve the presentation or the structuring of the answers.
And sometimes they used to give so much of importance for the pen also, the coloring and other things and all. Whether you used to have only one pen or used to have multicolor?
Due to the constraint of the time, I do not believe that people would be going for more than one color of the pen, because in the mind there is only one thing, that we have to complete 20 questions. Although one can do one, there is one thing which can be done, that is, once you have written an answer, try to underline the keywords. When you do that, it gives you a very good impression that you have tried to address the main objective of the answer. So instead of going for different colors, I would suggest that stick to one color of the pen, but try to enhance your presentation skill by underlining things or inboxing it. That will give you a good, that will give you a very good overview of your answer.
Okay. And this question is very important thing, because the students, those who are preparing for the civil service examination, they'll be always looking for some study materials. Always they'll be looking for some sources. And finally, they will not read anything. Okay. So, can you please recommend some of the most important recommended books one should never miss for the mains preparation, particularly? Otherwise, you can start from for the prelims, then mains.
Yes, sir. So for prelims, I feel that we have enough of books out there. However, NCRTs are the prerequisite. Coming to polity, there is Lakshmikant. And if you want to have a very much conceptual clarity, then I would say Bayer Act can also be read. But that is very selective. Then coming to history, I had studied the both old and new histories books of NCRTs. And after that, I had also studied Spectrum for Modern India. Then I made my own short notes, because if you do not make short notes, you will forget, or that is very bulky book to go over it or to revise it over and over again. For economics,
yeah, economy, of course, Ramesh Singh or yes.
For economy, I had followed Sriram Sir's notes, which is available in the market.
Okay. For CSAT, actually, the student, they used to find a very difficulty. So, what is your suggestion?
For CSAT, sir.
CSAT.
So for CSAT, what I did, that I figured out that quant is important. So I listed down all those topics which are in arithmetic, such as there is time and work, then there is distance, speed, then there is a number system. These were the topics which I focused more upon. Once I started looking at the videos available on YouTube, I started solving the questions from the test series which were available in the market. I didn't buy any book as per se for CSAT, because I feel that even without buying a book, you can go through the material which is available on YouTube. There is everything available there. And for CSAT, there is English comprehension. For that, you have to only practice. There is no strategy how to do the English comprehension. It is a very subjective thing. If you practice. So for CSAT, I didn't buy any book for myself, because I watched all the YouTube videos and used to solve PYQs along with the questions provided in the test series.
And in the same time, for the science and technology, the students, they'll be asking for some reference material. So what was your strategy for the science and technology?
Science and technology was something which there is no, I would say there is no book that is available in the market. For all of the subjects, there is something or other thing. So for the science and technology, I used to cover the newspaper comprehensively, because I felt that the Hindu newspaper in the Sundays, there used to be so many sections related to science and tech. And whenever I used to get stumbled upon some concepts which was new in the news, so what I did, I Googled it and made my own notes. So that was the thing for over 2 years when I started my preparation since 2019.
Did you study down to earth and science reporter, all those things? Did you study for that?
So I use down to earth magazines for my environment preparation, environment and ecology, but I didn't read science reporter.
Okay.
No, sir.
Because I have seen that there are some toppers, they used to say that they have studied so many things. They used to say for polity mainstream they studied, and world politics and they studied, world focus they studied, and they used to mention so many things. So, but finally, it is very impossible things within a period of 2 to 3 months, particularly for the mains examination, to cover all those things. So, particularly the people like you, those who have cracked the examination, if you could share, because the limited resources means they can study more number of times. So that's the main reason why I'm asking all these things. Yes. So your advice also is to refer only limited resources.
Yes, sir. So I actually limited my resources. because I didn't want to have too much of resources for me. Then it would give me a anxiety that I have to cover this, I have to cover that. So for certain sections, I had restricted myself. And obviously there is PT 365 in the market. And that is for prelims as well as for mains, which is very helpful. One doesn't have to make their own notes every time, because that will come in a very comprehensive manner in the magazine. And coming to the resources, as you mentioned, there are certain resources for GS paper 2 for polity, world affairs, and there are magazines, foreign affairs magazines. Since I am doing my master's in IR only, so I had to manage my master's study, my college, as well as my preparation. So that thing came very useful for me, because I had to study so much of international relations in my for my college thing. So I didn't go for any other sources, because I had to write assignments for the bilateral relations or other things. So I felt that why to go for other sources, because in the classes itself we were discussing so much of the things which is necessary in GS paper 2 or even in my optional paper. So I had restricted myself.
With respect to optional, I thought of asking one question. Who can choose political science optional? If any science background students, if they are going to choose political science optional, what are all the challenges they will face and what are all the advantages for them?
I believe that political science has become one of the most sought after optional subjects in this CSE examination. That is because
what are all the advantages of choosing this subject?
Political science, though it is a vast subject, but sorry, sir, could you please repeat the question? I couldn't
what are
get
the advantages of choosing political science as an optional subject?
The advantage is that there is so much of resources available out there. Firstly, there are no dearth of materials that is there in the market, so one would not find it difficult to prepare for. Secondly, the advantage is that it is very dynamic in nature, the international relations, which I feel that every student with the preparation for GS2 would find it easy to cover for optional subject. Those two things were which I felt very much useful for me. But as you mentioned that there are certain problems as well. The problem come with the paper 1, I feel, that is entirely theoretical in nature, that is theory based only. So we have to give certain amount of time to understand what the theory parts tells you. So that is one thing which the science students can feel difficult about. Otherwise, I do not feel there is any difficulty in PSIR as per the optional choice.
Okay. Can you please recommend some of the standard textbooks for paper 1 and paper 2? Because the people, those who are watching this program, I think they may select political science as their optional. This inputs will be really useful.
Yes, sir. So for paper 1, I had studied certain books in my college as well. That was O.P. Gaba. O.P. Gaba's political theory is there. Then there is, as much as I can remember, for Indian foreign policy, there are so many books. There is
which you refer, please. Yeah. What are the books you refer that you can recommend? Yeah.
So I had referred. I had studied the Andrew Haywood book. Then there is O.P. Gaba. Then there is A.S. Narang. A.S. Narang is for Indian government and politics, paper 1, section B part, which is really helpful. Then there is one book which is, I would say, the most important one to understand the theories part. That is Subhrata Mukherjee book. That is for all the thinkers of political theory. These 4 books were something which I had studied in my graduation and also referred during the course of my preparation. Apart from that, there are materials which are available in the market, such as the IGNOU material, that is good for the part of Indian thinkers, and also for international relations section. I had referred S. Shankar, our honorable foreign minister, his book, The India Way. You can read that book in your free time, because it will give you certain things which you can use in your paper 2 answers. And more than that, newspaper is important for paper 2. There are so many thinkers. There are professors who are writing for international relations. More than any book, I would say, for international relations, the second paper, one should rely upon the Hindu newspaper, the Indian Express, and there are also certain other magazines, as I mentioned, the foreign affairs magazines there. And these were some of the things which I can recollect right now.
Whether you used to watch some TV channel like Lok Sabha TV, Rajya Sabha TV, whether is it mandatory for a student, particularly those who have opted political science optional?
Yes, sir. I had watched certain TV series. Coming with recently, there has been a merger of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. There is a new channel, Sunset TV. So in Sunset TV, former ambassador Swaroop sir, Vikas Swaroop sir, he hosts a program weekly. That is, I cannot recollect the exact name, but that is very important. That is important because I watched it wholeheartedly during my interview preparation. He used to discuss all the bilateral relations. Apart from that, Suhasini Heather's ma'am's the Hindus' perspective on the international relations, that is important. Thirdly, there is a Shekhar Gupta sirs. He is having this Cut the Clutter. So, and not only he focuses on international issues, but so many other issues like the Indian sphere. So these 3 things I watched during my preparation.
Very good. So when the results came for your mains, whether did you expect the results will be there in the positive side?
I had this feeling that I might clear mains because there are 3 things which I feel that important. Firstly, one has to complete all the questions. So I had completed all the questions. And secondly, I knew that I have improved on my presentation skills based on the remarks I got from my test series. So that was one thing. And thirdly, you have to believe in yourselves. If you do not,
Yes.
they are writing this exam to clear. So I think you shouldn't be having this thing that I'm not going to clear. One has to have this feeling with yourself, okay, I will be clearing. So I had this feeling, but once the results were out, so I had the certainty that now I'm going for the personality test.
Excellent. So coming back to the interview stage, yes. As soon as the results came that you are selected for the personality test, definitely again there is a fear about the personality test. Though one side we are very happy that we are selected in the mains examination, the another side is again first time we are going to appear for the personality test. We do not know anything about it. And people, they used to say so many things. This board is like that board is like that, and you have to prepare like this, and you have to prepare like that. So how you started the personal test preparation, and can you please say some of your experience with the KingMakers IAS Academy?
Yes, sir. Sir, I feel that the personality test is the best experience which I got in this whole UPSC journey. Preparing from my DAF, I would really extend my heartfelt gratitude towards KingMaker IAS, because they had given me this questionnaire, DAF-based questionnaire, and also Madhvi ma'am was in constant touch with me. She also conducted this one-to-one session with DP Agarwal sir. But I would start my preparation for a personality test in a very detailed way. So the out, we had to fill the DAF. So I had made my mind at what I have to write in the DAF section. After the DAF was being filled, then there came the main major thing of preparing for personality test. So I had made digital notes for everything. So I had this plan in my mind that any word which is there in my DAF, I have to know it very well. So I had made all the notes starting from my birthplace to my educational background to everything. So that was really important because that will give you confidence. If one prepares their DAF very well, then they will excel in the personality test. Obviously, there will be certain questions, but you will have this confidence in yourself when you step into that room. Coming to KingMakers IAS, they were really helpful, I would say. DP Agarwal sir, he pointed out certain things in my DAF, and he said these questions might get asked in your personality test. Some similar things were being asked at actual. Also, couple of mocks which I had given, they helped me in refining my answers and to build confidence. And coming to this rumor that this board is like that board is very much like that, I would say it depends from person to person. I had a very good experience in my personality test. I got Satyavati ma'am's panel, and it was really engaging, very much opinion based, and there were questions from my background, that was international relations. So I was confident about my subject, and that really helped me in scoring 1 marks in my personality test.
What is your score in the personality test?
Sir, it is 190.
Wow. Great. Actually, DP Agarwal sir, after the interaction with you is over, then he just told me that this girl is going to crack this time. Okay, he used to tell some names always. So this time, after the interaction with you, told me that this girl is going to crack. So you have really proved that. And finally, when the results came, yes, of course, your name is there in the list, but still, we were all expecting that some of the names we could see in the top, maybe the top 50 or something like that. But what was your reaction? Whether you felt very happy for finding your name in the list, or you were a little unhappy for not seeing your name in the toppers list? Yes, of course, you're the topper. Yes.
Frankly speaking, I was not that much satisfied with my rank, but my friends and family, they were really happy for me. They made me understand the importance of getting your name in the list. So after I was normal, I am now contented because I really wanted to improve my rank. But let's see how it goes with the service allocation and other things. And obviously, when one put so much of hard work in this journey, they really want to top this exam and get themselves a very good rank. But certain things are not in your hand. And I in one quote, that is human proposes, but God disposes. It means that has to be prepared for the uncertain and unexpected things in your life. But also, there's one thing, one should be grateful about whatever they have achieved. So I do not want to discredit the effort of myself or my teachers or the all other people who were associated with me throughout this journey. It helped me to get myself in the holy list of UPSC.
Actually, seeing our name in the list of final selected candidates itself is a greatest achievement, whatever may be the rank. So now you are selected, you are a proud civil servant of this country, and I'm sure definitely you are going to be allotted a very good service. And I have gone through your DAF. Very soon, I'm sure definitely I'll hear the very positive news from your side. But still, I'm sure definitely you would have prepared your mindset for facing any kind of allotment. And I hope last week you would have given your prelims once again. Have you given the second time, a third time?
No, sir. No, sir. Actually, I took a break. I didn't give this year's.
Okay. I hope and I wish and I pray that whatever the service you aspire for and deserve for it, and that will be allotted to you. And we wish, and definitely it will be positive news very soon. And we hope we will celebrate your success very soon. And even Vivek sir, DP Agarwal sir, all were telling about your name. When we saw your name in the list, we all felt very happy. And whenever time permits, please do visit here to Chennai and directly interact with the students. And we will also celebrate your success and excellent information you have shared today. I'm sure definitely it's going to be a great inspiration to all the aspirants. And for the next few months, I'm sure definitely you will be a little busy and occupied with so much of interviews and other celebrations. And whenever and wherever you have time, go and interact with the school children and college children, and just to inspire them and tell them to aspire for the civil service examinations, and through which they can also learn a lot of things, no matter whether they are going to get through in the exam or not. But the process itself, as you said, it's an enjoyable process. We should be very happy for what we are. So excellent things which you quoted. So all the best, Shrestha Sree. We are really a wonderful interview today you have given. Thank you so much. And you have given the excellent credit to KingMakers IAS Academy also. Madhavi ma'am and DP Agarwal sir will be very happy to know this feedback. So we will be continuing our service in the future. And see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And your final message to the students.
My final message would be, firstly, believe in yourself. And if you really have the motivation to serve the nation, despite of any service you get into, one should have the zeal and the courage, I would say, to get into the services. One should always have their motivation, that why you want to get into the services. And apart from that, believe in yourself. Don't hear rumors or myths over speculation. Those things are not needed in this journey. One thing that is needed is obviously hard work as well as faith in your preparation. So that is
good. Thank you, Shrestha Sree. All the best for your future and career. Thank you.